Are you ready for the best damn sports radio show on the planet? Man Hour Nation, rise up.
I am going 6-0 in the division because the rest of the division sucks.
This is the best division in football, Tori. Take that step back. We are seeing the true quarterback that he really is, which he is not a very good quarterback.
Welcome to the Man Hour, we taking over. It's time to give you them facts. Won't miss a game or two, cause we here for you and we reporting all of them stats. We coming to you live to keep you updated. Broadcast across the country, we the fan favorites. Break the volume to the max and don't nobody touch it. We crossing topics off the list, addressing every subject. So if you ain't got a clue, then you can tune in and give it 24 hours and we back again. Breaking news, new scoops, we the top dogs. From the fields to the courts, we report it all. Buzzer beaters through your speakers, we the ones to call. Trust us for the news if it's got a ball. Giving you the top stories cause we love the turf. Tell a friend to tune in and where you heard it first. Yeah, you're listening to the Man Hour. We taking over, it's time to give you them stats. Yeah, you listen to the Man Hour. It's a game or two cause we reporting all of them facts. Yeah, you listen to the Man Hour. We taking over, it's time to give you them facts. Turn the speakers up a little loud. It's a game or two cause we reporting all of them stats. Cause you listen to the Man Hour.
And what is up, Man Hour Nation? Michael Buckasha here with the Man Hour. Head over to manhourradio.com and check out the new and improved merchandise page as we are updating that each and every day over there. We're getting new merch rolled out to you guys. We got hoodies, t-shirts, Beastie merch, waffle merch, mugs, hats, t-shirts, anything you want. You can literally wear Man Hour stuff every day of the week and not wear the same thing. And that's exactly the way Brandon BC Combs likes it. Welcome to the show, man. How you doing tonight, big guy?
Man, it has been a day. I'm going to tell you, I missed most of the noon kickoffs because I was helping my dad, prep for some work that he's going to have done on his garage, getting some new siding put up. But man, was it a crazy day of football. Baseball's crazy right now. The Red Sox and Rays are in the 10th inning. There is a lot for us to get to. But man, I'm pumped up. We dropped that Beastie merch this week. And now I've got some new fire Beastie merch coming soon.
Yeah.
Thanks to Liz over there, the co-worker who just, she came up with some really good ideas. I tweaked them just a little bit. And it looks nice, man. I can't wait for this stuff to drop.
Yeah, so we'll be dropping that tomorrow by 11 a.m. East Coast time. It'll be up there on the website, manhourradio.com. Click on the t-shirts, and it'll take you directly to the Beastie merch. I should have the website updated as well by that time, but if not, just click on the t-shirt link, and it'll take you right there. Speaking of taking us right there, Combs, this part of the show, we're going to take us right there to the game that kind of had our heads scratching, like, what in the world is going on? We had Aaron freaking Rodgers versus Joe Burrows. The Green Bay Packers taking on the Cincinnati Bengals. And Combs, there was 5 missed field goals in the final 8 minutes of the game, including overtime. However, the Green Bay Packers did pull it out in an overtime win, 25-22. What kind of score is that? What is that, like a high school basketball score? But nonetheless, they pulled it out. But Combs, what did this game tell you? Like, what are your final thoughts on this game?
My game told me that the Packers are going to be looking for a new kicker. The Cincinnati Bengals might be looking for a new kicker. I got home with, right when Mason Crosby had missed his first field goal. And then he misses the extra point. And then he misses another field goal. And then Cincinnati misses a field goal at the end of the game. And then Mason Crosby misses another field goal. And then Cincinnati thinks they made a field goal, so the kicker starts celebrating like an idiot. the kick wasn't even close. That ball was so wide left, hit the flag even. It wasn't even like the flag's fully extended to the left. It hits the flag, and he's celebrating like he hit it. Like, I don't know. Like, I have no clue how he thought he made that kick.
Yeah. Seeing that kick, I was like first of all, celebration before, like, it wasn't even close. I was like, whatever.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, Combs, Mason Crosby will never get fired from Green Bay. Let's just be honest about that. I mean, what he's like 50 years old and been kicking there for 18 years or something like that.
He's the all-time leading scorer in Packer history.
Yeah. So there is no way he is, getting fired or cut or whatever. However, what this game told about me is Cincinnati, guys, is kind of for real. You know, like
Yeah.
they might be a couple years ahead of schedule. Meaning, because like Combs, like we had them at what 6, 7, 8 wins this season. But guys, look out! You know, prior to this game, they were first in the AFC North. Now, granted, you know they dropped a few spots because the Steelers won and not like in the but the Browns lost. So I'm not sure how the rankings all look out like because like off of hindsight. But looking at it, guys, the Bengals are a pretty good team, and this is a team that you might want to look out for, Combs, because T. Higgins looked like a beast out there.
So
today.
right now it goes the Ravens in first at 3-1. They play tomorrow night.
Yep.
Bengals are in second at 3-2. Cleveland's in third at 3-2, and the Steelers are at 2-3 in last place. But I disagree with you, Buck. I do. I'm not so sure. Look, I like the way the Bengals played today. I like the fact that they played them tight. But I think this kind of confirms what we've been talking about the Green Bay Packers, is that they're sort of still trying to find themselves. Right now, they're still sort of smoke and mirrors. Their wins have not come. The one win against San Francisco, they blew a 17-point lead.
Right.
Still a good win because you're in San Francisco. You still find a way to win that game. And then you struggled to beat Cincinnati because you missed, I don't know how many field goals, extra points. There was 11 missed extra points in the NFL today.
Yeah.
11. That's a lot.
That's ridiculous.
But to me, I feel like this kind of shows that maybe we're right about the Green Bay Packers. Maybe they are not everything that Green Bay Packers fans think that they are right now. Yes, their record shows. I mean, they're, what are they, 4-1 now?
I believe so.
Yeah, so 4-1. They're still there. I mean, they still got the record. A win is a win in the National Football League.
True.
Sometimes you look at the opponents, and the opponents, like we talked about it a lot with the Denver Broncos, and I've talked about it a little bit with the Green Bay Packers. The jury's still out on them. I'm still not sold that the Green Bay Packers are some juggernaut in the NFC North right now. And the Bears played very well against the Raiders today. The Vikings, you know, they're talented enough to not be out of it just yet. Your Detroit Lions are now 0-5, but are still going to finish 10-7. They're still going to. I mean, you still got them at 10-7. They just got to go 10-2 the rest of the season. But hey,
so what you're saying is there's still a chance, though, right? So I mean, there's still a chance for it.
I'm saying you have a chance till week 9.
Yeah,
when they're 0-8.
You are absolutely right on that aspect. But we'll get into the Detroit Lions later in the show here. But Combs, this is the question that I got to ask you here, because like every time when you see these games, there's like who won the game and who lost the game. Did Cincinnati give this game away, Combs?
I mean, I don't say that just because the Packers gave it away too. You know, it was going back and forth. Nobody wanted to win this game. It seemed like nobody wanted to win this game, and it was just like everybody was just going back and forth, missing field goals. I don't want to say they gave this game away, but I will say that, you know, they definitely had some missed opportunities, but there was missed opportunities on both sides of the field.
Yeah, I mean, like every time when you think you give a game away, they definitely would have gave the game away if you flash back into overtime here, and it was first or second play of overtime. Joe Burrow throws that interception, and it gets the Packers down to like the 15 or 20 yard line, though.
The field goal.
Yeah, like, well, if they would have lost the game right then and there, Cincinnati would have definitely have gave this game away. But I love the heart and the fight and just the tenacity of the Cincinnati Bengals that is out there right now. I mean, like they are playing not great football, but they're not playing bad either. You know, like they are like right there on the line where the ball bounces one way or the other.
Yeah,
they could be 4-0, 5-0. You know.
And I think that it's hard to say that a team gives away a game when you think that this is a game they probably shouldn't have even been in anyway.
Right.
Heading into this game, I mean, look, I would have picked the Packers by 10+.
And I actually did. So
yeah, so I like to give Cincinnati all due credit. Like, I mean, they played. They made Green Bay take them to overtime. I think that's just gonna build confidence for the Cincinnati Bengals. I think maybe the Cincinnati Bengals are going to be a little bit better than we thought they were going to be this year. I think I had them at 7 or 8 wins. I had them getting back into the groove of things and winning more games than they're used to winning lately. But I don't I don't think that this was necessarily a bad loss for Cincinnati. I think if anything, this is a momentum gaining loss.
Yeah, I mean, few things that you said there was confidence. And a confidence in an NFL team at the right moment of time is very, very critical for a team. And the Cincinnati Bengals, they got confidence right now, and that's exactly what you said. And they got a tough stretch of games coming up, so I could see them definitely being better than what we thought here. But on the other side of that coin, we saw the Green Bay Packers get an interception in the first play of overtime, getting the ball down to the 15. And then they had 2 play calls that pushed them back to the 30-yard line. They were being very conservative. They were kind of playing not to lose the game. Like at that point, did the play calling in overtime almost cost the Green Bay Packers this game?
I mean, again, it's yes, it could have. They ended up winning the game. But at the same time, I think the only thing that really almost cost them this game was their kicker. This was just one of them weird games. I'm not so sure play calling had a ton to do with it. I mean, if he's kicking from the 15, do you still have confidence that he makes that kick? Yes, it's an easier field goal, but the way he'd been missing, right. I wouldn't have any confidence in him. I'm surprised that they even let him go for that one in overtime at the last one that he won it on. I might have gone for it on 4th down and just taken my chances.
Right.
But no, the play calling, I'm not a big LaFleur guy. I'm really not. And I know Torrey's not either. From talking to him about Packers games and the way that the coaching has been handled. I'm not a huge believer in Matt LaFleur. I kind of feel like Matt LaFleur is almost probably a little bit better. I mean, obviously because of his win-loss record, but probably a little bit better of a play caller than Matt Nagy, but not by much.
Yeah, I mean, like, obviously talent helps you a lot on that aspect, you know, when he has Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams and like all those boys on the sideline. But we saw it last week when they played the 49ers. Aaron Rodgers kind of took the play calling in his own hands. He said Matt LaFleur wanted me to throw to the sidelines, and I'm like, no, I'm going to throw it down the middle to Devontae Adams. And so everything that
he did it again in regulation this week, where they had 26 seconds left. And I remember I texted you right before it happened. I said, if Cincinnati misses this kick, Aaron Rodgers is going to lead them downfield and win the game. And then I prematurely texted you back 10 seconds later and said, I told you so. Yeah. And then I was like, I texted you right back after that. I said, well, Mason Crosby just lost his job.
So basically what we're saying here is that when Aaron Rodgers calls the play calls, Packers are a Super Bowl caliber team. When
it's kind of like Tampa Bay last year, right?
Yeah. So does Matt LaFleur need to take a back seat and just let Aaron Rodgers call his plays?
Yeah. I mean, I don't see why not. Aaron Rodgers has earned that respect throughout the league. I mean, Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady, I think, are 2 of the quarterbacks in the NFL that could probably do that. And look, I think Aaron Rodgers, to me, is actually more talented than Tom Brady.
Right.
He can do more things on a football field than Tom Brady has. The difference is Aaron Rodgers hasn't been in the organizations that Tom Brady has been in. Because I think if you switch roles, if you put Aaron Rodgers in New England and you put Tom Brady in Green Bay, I think maybe Aaron Rodgers wins 7 out of 10 Super Bowls. And I think maybe Tom Brady only has 1 and is losing because I just feel like it's a different organization that they've run the same. But I think if you ask me, if I put them hand in hand, obviously I'm always going to put Tom Brady as the best quarterback of all time because the numbers just don't lie and he's just that damn good and he's earned my respect. But I think when it goes talent wise, look, I really think there's a case that Aaron Rodgers is a more talented quarterback than Tom Brady is.
Yeah, I mean,
he's just not as you know, I guess celebrated as
Yeah.
Tom Brady is.
I mean, like athleticism goes a long way, because we actually had a conversation with Kevo two weeks ago, just about this very segment here. So Drew says the Bengals still need to concentrate on beefing up their old line, as I think every NFL team needs to, quote, beef up their old line year after year after year. The Bengals are much improved for like the lack of moves that we heard of them on the offensive line of sides, and on draft night I don't think they drafted one offensive lineman on like during
No,
like
no, it was all
the
defense
draft.
again.
Yeah. So I mean, that offensive line is very, very much improved from last year. So I mean, do they
Yeah.
really need to beef it up, or do they just need another year of being together? You know, I mean, shit. I mean, that's,
Yeah, I think kind of a little bit of both. I think it wouldn't hurt to get some more veteran leadership in there. I think that it wouldn't hurt to get another decent offensive lineman, add some depth. But no, they're improved. Look, the Packers are. I'm not saying the Packers aren't a good team.
Yeah.
I'm really not. Like I think that the Packers are a good team. I just don't think they found their groove yet. I think that they've still got some holes, still got some things that they're working on. And I think much like I said, much like the Bears, I just think they need a new play caller.
Well, and if you listen to Around the League and to listen to other people talk, aka Tori Anderson at @manhour_Tori on the old Twitter machine, he says the first 4 to 5 weeks of the NFL season is just an extension of the preseason, and many teams don't put much stock into the first 4 to 5 weeks. So, maybe the real Green Bay Packers will stand up come week 6, right?
Yeah, I mean, look, the Bears and Packers at Soldier Field this Sunday. I think this is going to be a much better game than people might think it's going to be. I think Packers fans are expecting them to walk all over the Bears. This Bears defense is shelling out again this year. This is like the same Bears defense that they had 3 years ago when they, the double doink happened and cost them a chance at going deeper into the playoffs. This Bears defense is playing really, really well right now. I love what they do. If you go for it on fourth down against the Bears, you're getting stopped. I don't know why teams continue to do it. I don't think they've allowed a fourth down conversion all year, and they faced a lot of them. They seem to stop every single one that forces. I think this could be a really good game next week. I probably won't pick the Bears to win this game, but I think it's going to be a much better game than people think that it's going to be. And I really, really hope that it's a Justin Fields coming out party. I'd love to see that kid go off for 300 to 400 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, and like I would too, because he's definitely taking leaps and bounds each and every day here, or each and every week as he becomes a starter in the NFL. But we will be talking a lot more about the Chicago Bears tomorrow and their victory today. Like, I wanted to wait because I wanted to check the health status of Justin Fields after this week. So I did just see a tweet that Joe Burrow is at a local hospital right now with a throat contusion. So
Really?
Yeah, and so he was taking some beats down this.
The Bears, the Raiders were coming, and I tweeted this out, that it was evident in the first quarter that their goal was to injure Justin Fields. I can't tell you how many times a lineman came through the line and had a chance at Justin Fields, even if he had already gotten rid of the ball, with the crown of their helmet in different spots of his back. It was horrendous to watch the way that they were going about it. It was clear that was their intentions. And finally, the refs started throwing flags, giving them, and so finally they calmed down on it because they kept getting 15-yard penalties. But stuff like that in the NFL, look, and we'll talk about this a little bit later on. There's a lot of things that need to change with roughing the passer, but those are some of the things that when, referees can clean that up themselves by throwing the flag a few times.
Yeah, and we will definitely be diving deeper into that on Monday night show here on the Man Hour at youtube.com/Man Hour. So speaking of diving deeper into the season here, obviously, guys, we are well into week 5 here, but we have 2 games left of the week 5 NFL season. And get that out of there. Come on. And the New York Football Giants, they are riddled with injuries right now. They played the Dallas Cowboys today. The Cowboys pulled out the 14-point win. 34-24 was the final, if I'm not mistaken on that. But some of the biggest news to come out of that game was Saquon Barkley's spraining of his ankle. They zoomed in on his ankle, and it looked like he had a softball on the outside of his ankle. So he will definitely be out probably at least 6 to 8 weeks from my, uneducated opinion on that. But Combs, is Saquon Barkley shaping up to be the biggest what if in the NFL?
I mean, God, it's hard because Christian McCaffrey keeps getting hurt too. So Saquon Barkley has definitely had some his bouts with injury for sure. That ankle it looked like he had a small child growing out of his ankle.
Yeah, it was
gross. It was pretty bad. But their entire offense got hurt. I mean, Daniel Jones went down. Saquon Barkley went down. Kenny Galladay went down. They had a couple offensive linemen go down. Another receiver went down. I mean, their entire offense got hurt in this Dallas Cowboys game. I didn't see much of it because I was watching the Raiders and Bears, but I mean, every time that they got a report, it was another player getting hurt for the New York Giants. And Saquon Barkley, as far as him being a what if, I think it's still too early for that. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
I feel he'll probably come back, and I think you're right. I mean, with the size of that ankle, if I see him back before 6 weeks, I'll be shocked.
Right.
I really will. And I think that if he comes back, if he can have a good season, if he can have a healthy season or 2 or 3 in a row and put them together, all that talk goes away. But man, it really is. It's got to be for Giants fans. Giants fans have got to be shaking their head like, are you kidding me? Again, with Saquon Barkley going down. So could he be the biggest what if? Yeah, because he's really ultra talented, but he just can't stay healthy.
Yeah. So one of the biggest things about the running back life expectancy in the NFL is basically you play off your rookie deal, the 4 to 5 years, and then you make your money the 3 to 4 year deal that like you will sign. Very few running backs after that sign a second deal, right? So
right.
Basically the life expectancy of Saquon is shrinking every time he gets injured. Yes, I know he came back from a horrific ACL injury, or what was it, his Achilles? I think it was ACL. But he came back from that, played 4 games this year, and that ankle looked gross, guys. And whether you want to admit it or not, he was probably better off to break the damn thing, because that way they could put a cast on it and he could just sit out and.
Are we sure that he didn't break it?
Well,
the way that thing blew up like that, I mean, it's quite possible. Did you see the way he stepped on it?
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean,
it looked pretty gross.
That was probably one of the worst sprained ankles I've ever seen. But I feel like if they would have if he would have broke it, he probably would have been in an air cast, like on the sideline, and just not sitting there. But I don't want to speculate by any means, so I'm just going to say say a sprained ankle. And looking at how the Giants season right now is going, let's say he does come back 6 weeks, they might be 1-12 at that point or whatever. I mean, so would it even be worth it for him to come back for the rest of the season?
Yeah, I mean, you can't keep holding the guy back just because your team's not winning, not doing well.
Right.
He still needs to go in and play. He still he's still, for himself, he's going to be playing for his next contract. No matter what, he's got to show that he can come back off of this and all of that. But God, it's got to be hard right now to be a New York sports fan. I mean, the Giants are perennially awful. They can't stay healthy. The Jets are always awful. The Yankees keep losing. They can't find pitching. The Knicks suck. So, it's got to be hard being a New York sports fan right now.
Yeah, I mean, you're exactly right. So the reason that I say, is he going to be the biggest what if, right? So Saquon has played 35 games in his career, okay? in his whole
Yep.
career in the NFL. He has 549 rushing attempts and only 2,500 yards. So basically, his whole career matches King Henry one season output. And it just like at what
Yeah.
point, like, because, you know, this is his 4th year in the league. So with that being said, you know, next year is his player option. Does he want to take that 5th year deal, or do the Giants even want to give him his fifth year deal? So he has basically 4 years to prove himself, to be a what if or a bust almost.
I guess on the flip side of that, if you're Saquon Barkley, your argument could be, look, I don't have a whole lot of mileage on my body.
Right.
You know, I've been injured. You know, I don't have a ton of mileage. I'm still good. And look, you can't predict injuries.
You can't.
You know what I mean? So, like, you can't say going into next season, Saquon Barkley's healthy. You can't, you know, decide whether or not you want to sign a guy with this talent level based off of the fact that, well, he's been injured a lot. Well, what if he's healthy now? I mean, we've seen a lot of players that get injured and then they get healthy. You know, Christian McCaffrey, year after year, he's the number 1 pick in fantasy drafts. Year after year, he goes down. He's another one that you just can't predict the injury. You hope he stays healthy, and you want him to stay healthy. You never root for injuries, but this is it's concerning.
Yeah.
It's concerning for sure. I just don't know if he'll be that what if, because he does have that argument, like I said, of he doesn't have a ton of mileage on his body right now.
Well, and on the flip side of that, he can't stay healthy though either. So I mean, it's definitely a double-edged sword there, 100%. So guys, we are up against our first break here on the Man Hour. On the other side of the break, we have the infamous "Ain't Nobody Got Time for That." So Combs, let people know what that is all about.
Oh, ain't nobody got time for that. That is a fan-driven show, or a fan-driven, I should say, segment. A fan created the segment. A fan came up with the idea. We created this cool little video for it, and we will definitely go there with you guys. Ain't nobody got time for that. Everybody's seen that YouTube video with the lady about the fire and getting interviewed. Ain't nobody got time for that.
I got bronchitis. But guys, Ain't Nobody Got Time for That is brought to you by Skull Candy headphones. They say, and I quote, "This is the best thing you will put in your body." So take that as you will. But they got in the ear headphones,
What
around
are you
the ear
doing
headphones,
with those headphones?
over the ear headphones. Skullcandy.com. Link is in the description, guys. When you click the link, they will automatically implement a 20% discount for you guys. So Skull Candy is sponsoring. Ain't nobody got time for that, guys. We'll be right back here on the Man Hour.
right, Man Hour Nation. Ain't Nobody Got Time for That is brought to you by Skull Candy Headphones. Link is in the description. Buck, you ready for some Ain't Nobody Got Time for That?
Man, I am always ready for your segments. They always make me smile.
Nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time for that.
All right. So here we go. The first Ain't Nobody Got Time for That is going to be directed towards the NFL. I'm so sick and tired of these penalty flags in these games for unnecessary roughness and roughing the passer. It drives me absolutely insane. I mean, I've seen calls where a guy is going up to deflect a pass, and as his arm comes down, it barely, the fingernail on his pinky hits the face mask of the quarterback, and they call roughing the passer. Today, it was in the end zone. The Raiders caught a ball. Not Hunter Renfrow. Oh, God, I'm watching baseball in the background. Renfrow for the Raiders catches the ball in the end zone, and Roquan Smith lowers his shoulder into him, lodges the ball loose, so it's an incomplete pass, and they call unnecessary roughness on Roquan Smith. It was a clean hit.
It was a defensive.
He didn't hit him in. But it's stupid. It's stupid. The NFL is absolutely ruining the game of football with these types of plays. They've got to tone it down a little bit. Now, don't get me wrong. There are some good roughing the passer calls, like I talked about earlier with the Justin Fields thing. Like they're clear. They're going at him with the crown of their helmet in the back. They hit him at one point in the kidney with the crown of their helmet. 3 seconds after he throws a ball, he's getting thrown to the ground. Stuff like that definitely needs to be protected. The quarterbacks need to be protected in that sort of fashion. But all this other nonsense that gets called is just ridiculous. The NFL needs to sit down with its officials and needs to say, hey, look, this is the line, okay? This is roughing the passer. This is unnecessary roughness. Anything else that is below that, stop throwing the damn flag because you're killing the game. Some of these calls are actually costing teams the game. It's extending drives. It's allowing teams to put the ball in the end zone, and it's costing them points. It's costing them games. NFL absolutely needs to stop.
Yeah, one particular game that comes to mind right now. Let's go over the pond there and go to London. It was the very first drive of the game. The Jets had the Falcons in a 3-and-out, and Matt Ryan throws a stupid pass, and he gets creamed. Beautiful hit, nice sack. Oh, you put all your body weight on the quarterback when you hit him. What kind of crap is that, for one? That is absolutely the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my whole entire life. Yes, I know it hurts the quarterback when you put all their weight on him. Okay, so what do you want me to do? So you want me to push him down so then a player like Lamar Jackson can scramble out of that because he has the athletic ability to be pushed and maintain his balance and throw the ball down the field for 60+ yards. But when I do that to somebody else, they don't. Whatever. It is absolutely ridiculous about the whole body weight thing. Playing defense in the NFL right now is probably the hardest thing in the world. It is probably harder than being a Trump supporter right now. Let's just be flat out honest about that. But with that being said, Combs, I do like your common sense saying this is it and this is not. But I want to say it is up to the referee's discretion. Was this hit meant to hurt the person? Or was this a football play?
And that's the problem, though. It can't be left up to the referees' discretion.
Why? Because let's say
because
this.
Obviously they can't use their discretion to call it right because they're just calling everything.
Well, because they have to. Just because if you hit the quarterback and you're within a foot, you got to throw that flag just because that's the way the rule states. Also, to your game there that you're watching, the Raiders versus the Bears hitting the defenseless receiver, that's what football is. I mean, Why
Yeah.
do I want to let a freaking receiver run wild over the middle?
And
make
he
sure
wasn't
he catches
defenseless.
it.
He was in the air
Yeah,
trying to catch a touchdown pass.
yeah.
It was a beautiful football play.
That is football. So that is when I say you need to let the referees distinguish what is intent and like what is not. Because if you want to go to the college game, there was a kicker that lowered his head into the opposing guy's like thing and just like murdered him. That was intent. He definitely needed to be ejected, and he didn't. It was stupid.
Yeah, it's dumb, and I don't know what the NFL can do about it. I don't know what they could. I mean, maybe you just go ahead and you put flags on the quarterback's hips, and that's all you can do.
Nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that.
All right. So the next one we got
I
here,
love that video.
Chicago White Sox fans giving up on their team down 2-0 in a best-of-5 series to the Houston Astros. Calm down, White Sox fans. Do you not realize who's managing the other team? Do you not realize that Dusty Baker-led teams have blown more leads than any other manager team in the playoffs ever? He's blown it 3 2-0 leads. He's blown 2 3-1 leads. It's what Dusty Baker-led teams do. Come out, play baseball, support your team. They've got a good crowd tonight. They got a total blackout in Chicago where everybody's wearing black. It's fun to watch, but stop talking about it. I see it all over social media. Oh, we're dead. You know, dude, blah blah blah. I did pick the Astros to win it in 5. I still think it's going to go 5. I think the home team's going to win every game in this series. I think that Tony La Russa, which he's shown through the first 2 games, like I said, is going to end up costing this team a chance to go for deep into the playoffs. And that's exactly what's happening. He can't control a pitching staff. He can't control a roster. But don't give up on your team. It's 2-0. You got plenty of games left. And anything can happen in a game 5. So stop giving up on your team.
Yeah, they do have plenty of games left, as in 1, because they got 9 innings to go in this particular game. Just because, Combs, you said it yourself. Tony La Russa was the worst hire for the White Sox that they could have ever possibly made.
Oh, yeah.
They could have hired a high school coach and probably would have managed this team better than what Tony La Russa has done. So with that being said, I am with the White Sox fans, because people like you, Combs, and who is that guy that does the Chicago Sports Radio show that we always talk to? You know who I'm talking about. Solo show.
Oh, yeah.
His name.
God,
right?
why can't I think of his name?
But he has
Anyway.
been dogging the White Sox all season, all 163 games or 64 games that they have played. Like, he's like, they are trash. They suck, yada, yada, yada. So, definitely, White Sox fans, you guys have guys, just convert over to Cubs fans just because the disappointment would have been done 4 months ago.
See, that's the other thing, too, man. I've been listening to Chicago Sports Radio, man. These White Sox fans and Cubs fans alike. Like, I listen to Cubs. I can't root for the White Sox. I hope the Astros win. And White Sox fans are like, yeah, well, how good have the Cubs done this season? What are the Cubs doing in the playoffs? Well, I'll tell you what. As of right now, heading into today, to be honest with you, the honest question is that we've won as many games as the White Sox have in the playoffs. How about that for an answer? How about this? Cubs fans, stop saying you can't root for the White Sox in this. Why can't a Chicago fan, why can't a Cubs fan? I'm a diehard Cubs fan, as you can see by all the stuff in the background. I love my Cubs, okay? But it doesn't mean I have to hate the White Sox. We play them 6 times a year. 6 times, 6 games a year we play the White Sox. And half the time we split. It's 3-3. How can you hate this team so much? It's fun, yes. It's fun for me to rib my friends who are White Sox fans when they're playing one another, yes. But this team is really young and really good. How can you not cheer for this team? How can you not hope that they do well? The Cubs have no chance. The Cubs aren't in it. They're not playing the Cubs. I'm not saying if it was the Cubs versus the White Sox, that you're not rooting for the Cubs and you're not rooting for the White Sox to lose, yes. But the White Sox are playing the Astros. The freaking Astros. Why can't you cheer for this team? It's stupid. Cubs fans.
Nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time for that.
All right. Let's stick with the fans here. You know what I'm sick of seeing and what I think is completely stupid?
She said.
I think it is just overblown. It's fans fighting in the stands. All these videos of fans, fighting, blah, blah, blah. You see it, the Dodgers Giants fans going at it. You saw the one that went viral the other day with the White Sox fan in Houston walking up the stairs and some idiot pours a beer on his head, so he pushes him, and then some other idiot comes and sucker punches him. Like, it's stupid. It's stupid. Look, I've been to, I can't tell you, I've been to probably over 1,000 sporting events in my life. Okay, I've been to a lot. And I love the Cubs. I love the Bears. I love the Blackhawks. I love the Bulls. These are my teams. Not once, not one time in my entire life have I ever gone to a game and said, God, that guy's cheering for the other team. You know what? I really want to punch him in the face. What gets you to that point? What gets you to that point? So other teams, should be no reason why other teams, fans can't come to the game and cheer on their team. And it's fun. I can't tell you how many times. I remember even this year, I went to a Cubs game, and there was a Reds fan sitting behind me, a whole family of Reds fans, right? And the Cubs went down early, and they're all high-fiving and cheering, blah, 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 talking crap. And, I'm laughing and just, shaking my head and, going about my business. Cubs come back and they win that game, and in the 7th inning they hit a home run to take the lead. I turn around, I try giving them a high five, and they just kind of stare at me like blah blah blah. But that's fun. I didn't turn around and sock them in the damn jaw. That stuff is stupid. The fans have to stop. It's idiotic.
Yeah, you are right to an extent, Combs. So you always have those couple people out there that have had one too many Miller Lights, because Miller Lite sponsors the NFL, I guess, and that's all you can get.
I love Miller Lite.
It's my second favorite. But you know who we gotta blame this on? We gotta blame this on the Chinese. We gotta blame it on the people across the pond over there, Mr. Coronavirus himself, and all those stimulus packages, because these particular people probably would not be going to all these sporting events because, for one, they probably couldn't afford it. But, Mr. Old Stimmy is in my pocket, and I got a couple $100, so I'm going to get drunk. I'm going to get crunk. I'm going to spit in somebody's face just to make myself go viral. I mean, that is the problem with our society, Combs, is one person posts a video and gets 15 million views, right? And man, and this person's man, if I spit in this person's face, it's going to go viral. I'm going to be known as that guy, right? And so I blame it on us. I blame it on Facebook. I blame it on Twitter. I blame it on the Chinese. Why? Because the whole COVID. That's why. Yes, I said it. Sue me.
Stop eating bats, China.
Yeah.
Stop eating bats.
Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that.
All right. So the last one I got here, Notre Dame versus Virginia Tech happened last night. Hell of a game, from what I heard. Notre Dame won by a field goal, from what I was told. You know why? Because NBC, ESPN Plus, Xfinity, here in Chicago, nobody televised the game. There was no Notre Dame home broadcast. How does Notre Dame not have a home broadcast in Chicago? I was so irritated last night. All I want to do, I was watching the UFC fights. I was going back and forth with baseball. Got to watch the Brewers lose yesterday, so I was happy about that. And then I'm watching UFC fights. I'm watching, the main event, and I'm like, all right, cool. I'm gonna switch over to Notre Dame. No game. Can't find it anywhere. I'm like, you know what? ESPN Plus probably has it. Turn on ESPN Plus. Nope. Your provider doesn't allow it in your area. What the? How? How does this happen? This is idiotic.
Is it really idiotic though? Because look at these other games that were airing. You have University of Texas El Paso taking on Southern Miss. Man, my old guys UTEP, 52-46 score here, Combs. That's a great game. My man Adrian Mays, the head coach down there at Texas State, beat South Alabama in overtime, 33-31. Then you had Michael Blah's Roll Tide get beat by Texas A&M. Combs.
All of those were day games. This was a night game.
Exactly. The reason why they put that night game up there because it was the worst game of the weekend. Who wants to watch Notre Dame?
Do you know NBC is Notre Dame's home station?
It was not anymore. They rather air Kansas State games.
Do you know what game was aired last night at 6:30 during kickoff of Notre Dame? Do you know what game was on NBC?
Probably not because I don't watch NBC.
Nah, none. There was no game on NBC last night. There was no other game to televise.
What do you mean? They have all the West Coast teams like you had UCLA,
and
Arizona.
This game was decided by a field goal. This was a great game.
Was it? Was it though? You had Notre Dame. Oh, Combs.
Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time for that.
Those dancing monkeys, man, every damn time.
Cut me off like that. Sheesh. I feel like I'm Wyatt right now.
Just trying to tell you, ain't nobody got time for that. That's all.
I mean, it's true. Notre Dame sucks.
We're running close to break anyway.
Are we? It is.
I think so.
All right, guys. We'll be right back. And welcome back to the Man Hour, guys. Michael Buckcastle and Brandon Combs. Now, you can find us on Twitter at manhour_Buck. And you can find Combs at manhour_Combs. And of course, the Man Hour radio show itself at man_hour_radio on the old Twitter machine. Guys, we are heavy NFL as always here in the on the Man Hour tonight because we're in the middle of NFL season. But we are going to open up the chat line here, guys, for you guys to talk about anything that you want. So head over to youtube.com/Man Hour for the next half hour or next 15 minutes or so. You guys can ask us any questions you want. But then coming up later in the sports show, guys, we're going to talk some MLB playoffs. We're going to talk some Vikings and Lions. And, of course, Patriots and Texans. And then Chicago or Cleveland Browns. Well, man, Combs, I'm all types of distraught right now. Cleveland Browns and Chargers. But, guys, we just had that Ain't Nobody Got Time for That segment, which is brought to you by Skull Candy headphones. Link is in the description. You instantly get 20% off. So click the link, get you guys some good headphones. I'm wearing some mine right now. These cost me about $80. So, I mean, they're not horrible. Or, I mean, they're not horribly priced, I should say. So, I mean, and then they range from $20 to $250. So it's just depending on how much you want to spend here. So the first comment that I want to address here is from my man, Isaac Hatfield. Hatfield himself. He is a long snapper up at Northern Illinois. And he says kickers are football players too. Combs, have you heard more of a false statement before in your whole entire life?
Kickers are football players.
Are
Look,
they?
I mean,
Okay.
why not? I mean, what happens when? I mean, look at what was his name from the New England Patriots all them years, who kept kicking game-winning field goals and winning Super Bowls.
Vinatieri?
And Vinatieri, and then Robbie Gould, and there's lots of kickers out there that are football players, and yes, they are football players. They're on a football team. They're on the roster, so yes, they're a football player. They're more of a football player than you or I are.
I disagree because I think I mean if I were to go up to any kicker in the NFL right now and go head to head in an athletic ability contest, I would win.
How many games in the NFL have you played? None. How many games has an NFL kicker played? Let's pick any kicker.
At
Pick
least
any kicker
one.
you want.
At least one, 100% more than I have, right? Those mother.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
So, and then Isaac also comes out like and says punters are people too. Yeah, they are people. And then he says snappers are the most.
I don't want to know my
underrated
punter's
position
name
in
though.
football. Yeah, exactly.
I don't want to know my punter's name.
So Hatfield, I do agree with you on this aspect that you brought up here. You said snappers are the most underrated position in football. You are absolutely right because we only know your name when you fuck up. That's
Yes.
the only that's the only time when I know your name. I mean,
It's true.
I mean,
It's
it,
true.
I mean, it definitely sucks.
A long snapper's goal in his NFL career is to never have anybody mention his name.
Speaking of long snappers, did you see that the long snapper, I think it was for the Patriots. He has the best mud chops I've ever seen in my life, and his hair is like down to his
No.
ass. It is amazing mud chops.
I've
wanted to grow
never.
some.
No,
For some
I
reason,
don't think.
they showed a
I don't
picture.
even think I know who their long snapper. I don't know.
I don't
anybody's
either,
Long
but
snapper.
I
You
feel
could
like-
ask me who's the Bears long snapper, and I wouldn't be able to tell you.
Yeah.
Can you tell me who's the Chiefs long snapper?
Number 41. That's all I know. His name's slipping my mind,
I'm checking that right now.
he
'cause
does-
If it's number 41, if it's not, I'm calling you out.
he does play safety though, too. So he is just not a long snapper. He's a positional player like as
Let's
well.
see.
What is his name?
Long snapper. I got his name. Ooh, he is number 41. Look at you go.
Yeah,
James Winchester.
Yeah, so he also is a backup safety or corner as well. So he gets in.
So now I got to look up this New England Patriots long snapper.
I think it was from the Patriots, but I'm not for sure. But Hatfield, thank you for tuning in, man. Where we definitely enjoy you. We
Yeah, it's
need to
definitely
bring
not the guy from the Patriots.
no.
He's got shorter hair than I do.
Maybe it was from the Packers. I don't know. I have to read back and we'll watch the game. But Hatfield, we definitely need to link up and get you back on the show here, man, and do a interview. Northern Illinois guys is 4-2 right now. They had a big win on Saturday. They played who'd they play? Toledo, and so they're now 4-2 on the season. So big shout out to those guys. And then Drew says most team players don't consider punters, kickers as real football players. 100% correct. Combs, let me ask you this.
I disagree with that though. Like, look, we talked about Mason Crosby missing all those kicks.
Why?
But then
Because he missed all those kicks.
But then he won the game with the kick. And what did we see his team do? His team came out and celebrated with him. They were cheering for him. You know,
and they don't talk to him for the rest of the night. Hey man, good job on the field. And then, like in the locker room, like, who are you? Is this the towel boy? No, Combs, seriously.
Dude, Mason Crosby, I'm looking at the photo of them right now, like cheering with him on the team after he's got his helmet off, and he looks like he's about 96 years old.
Oh yeah, man! Did you see all that back of his arm hair? Like he had more back of his arm hair than he does like on my legs. It's absolutely crazy. But seriously, like in college,
Back arm hair.
no, seriously, look it up, man. Like he has so from like your elbow up. I mean, like I got some there. But he has some like from like his armpit down. You know when like a old man like has like the hair like on his back like popping out of his shirt. His is popping out like out of the back of his arms. It's absolutely crazy.
That's hilarious.
He needs to get his wife or his boyfriend or other to shave that stuff, man. Like, come on, like groom yourself like a little bit. But back to my story here. When I was in college, the only time I met my kicker was one time at a party. And the only reason why I knew he was a kicker because somehow I was like, man, what's that kicker doing? Like he was taking, he probably did 4 lines of cocaine. I'm like, what are you doing, man? Like that kicker's crazy. But that's the only time I've ever saw my kicker like outside of like game. So I couldn't even tell you his name to this day. But whatever. Nonetheless,
Red Sox catcher just took a foul tip off of his forearm. Of his throwing hand. God, that hurts, man.
Javier says, thank God for basketball again. Man, Javier, your Dolphins are what, 1-4 right now on the season. Combs, we saw Jacoby Brissett start his second straight game this season, and we've heard this thing from a couple teams now. Hey, when our guy's healthy, he is our guy. Well, Justin Fields is a starter in Chicago now. The San Francisco 49ers just said the same thing. Hey, when Jimmy G is like healthy, he is our guy. I doubt it. When Tua gets healthy,
why do you doubt Jimmy G?
Why? Because Trey Lance has that city under a spell for whatever reason it is.
He was terrible today.
He was. So was Justin Fields. His first NFL start, right?
Yeah, and it was against the Arizona Cardinals, so I'll give him that as well.
And they, it was a 17-10 game too. So I mean,
yeah, but
granted, he didn't play defense, but
just
still.
every time Trey Lance is in, they look lost. That's not the same. It's not the same thing as with Justin Fields. The Bears didn't look lost. They look lost in their play calling against the Cleveland Browns. But Justin Fields now is 3-1 as a starter for the Bears.
True, but is Tua going to get his starting job back?
Yeah. When Tua's healthy, Tua's their guy, and they're not winning football games, so it's not like you can say, "Oh, Jacoby Brissett's lighting it up and tearing it up."
Yeah.
That's a completely different story. I mean, look, Justin Fields went down today. I thought, God, I was hoping to God it wasn't an ACL, but he went into the tent, came back out 3 plays later, and he's back in the game. They take Andy Dalton back out of the game. The fans cheer, and Andy Dalton's laughing as he's running off the field because he knows it's Justin's team now.
Yeah.
And it's a different scenario in Miami. Jacoby Brissett's not like, if Jacoby Brissett went out today and threw for 411 yards and 5 touchdowns or something like Tom Brady did, then I'd be, I would say, hey, you know what? Maybe you got to sit down and look at what we have here. But he didn't do that. They got waxed.
Yeah, they did. But Miami's just not a good team. I think all the offseason controversy about
I'm disappointed in
we're
them.
getting Deshaun has really definitely wore on the team itself.
They're a disappointing team.
Yeah.
right now.
Drew says, I'm getting really tired of moral victories. Drew, which of your 7 NFL teams are you referring to? Because your Cardinals won today, right?
Why'd you do Drew like that?
But I'm tired of I'm not trying to be mean, but
You ain't wrong.
But what moral victory are you referring to? And then Hatfield comes out and says Justin Tucker has a 99 overall in rating in Madden. He's definitely a football player. The only reason why he has that rating there, Isaac, is because the refs screwed the Detroit Lions in that game. That's the only reason why he has that rating. So we'll get into talking into Detroit Lions later in the show, but yeah, that's the only reason why they got the rating.
0-5.
0-5. They are 0.
They're the only team in the NFL without a win.
The Jaguars are 0-5. The Eagles they got their second win of the year today.
Yeah.
The Jets won last week. The Giants won last week. I think that's in Houston won week 1, obviously.
Yeah, so it's Jacksonville and Detroit. I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah.
Jacksonville and Detroit are the only teams without a win, and there is only there's actually never mind. Now that I look at it, there's more teams with only 1 loss. I thought I only saw like 2 or 3, but
Yeah.
there's about 5 of them.
Yeah. Like at least. And then Drew says you are talking about apples and oranges, Buck. I'm not sure what you're
Apples and
talking
oranges.
there, but why can't fruit be compared? I'm just asking that question in a blank statement. Combs, can fruit be compared?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Dude, speaking of fruit, like I love Red Bulls. I drink Red Bulls all the time. Drink them in the morning, heading into work.
Yep.
I tried a pomegranate Red Bull today. Absolute fire. Might be the best Red Bull I've ever had in my entire life. Yeah, I love the watermelon one,
Yeah.
but the pomegranate one, like it really tastes like I'm just sitting there eating a pomegranate.
I haven't tried any of the flavored Red Bull yet, so I'm glad you said that.
Man.
Like I'm kind of
Watermelon, blueberry, and now pomegranate, and the green apple is amazing too.
And then Drew comes out and says there's a difference between being a player and an athlete. Very, very true. I mean, Tom Brady is a player, and Aaron Rodgers is an athlete, I guess, right? I mean,
I like that.
two differences
I like
there.
that scenario.
Hatfield comes out and says that long snappers have become very important specialized positions who can cover, tackle, and precisely snap the ball all in one. That's a quote from Bill Belichick. You're absolutely right. I mean, I'm not attacking snappers at all. The title of the show is Kickers Aren't Football Players because they missed 5 field goals in the Packers-Bengals game in the last 3 minutes of the game. That's why that is that title. Isaac says they're first in the MAC, so that's Northern Illinois is first in the MAC. So good job to the Wolfpack. Are they the Wolfpack? I can't remember. If they're the Wolfpack or not.
Who the
Northern Illinois
Huskies?
Huskies. That's right, Huskies. Drew says McAfee had an episode about that, about how kickers are not athletes. So I actually remember watching that.
Isn't he a kicker? He's the one. Is he the one
He's a punter.
that Peyton Manning said something about my idiot drunk kicker?
Yep.
Is that?
Yep.
Is that Pat McAfee?
That is Pat McAfee.
Okay. All right.
That is also the same Pat McAfee
makes a ton of sense
that
now.
got arrested a day before a game too. So
Yeah, that's
my idiot drunk kicker. Yeah. And then
He
Javier
makes a lot of
says,
sense.
"Wow, great fight last night. The next Rocky, LOL." So I think he's referring to the Wilder fight. Did you get a chance to watch that fight at all, Holmes?
No.
I
You
saw
know
the
why
highlights
I
of
don't
it,
watch
yeah.
boxing is because I believe boxing is probably the most fixed sport out there. Like I don't think I think that it has a predetermined winner. I think that the books have a lot to do with it. I have no interest in ever watching a boxing match right now. Not only that, they just don't have good fighters.
Yeah.
They don't. The UFC is where it's at right now, and boxing is just it's just not fun anymore to watch. Like Tyson Fury and Wilder. Tyson Fury looks like a 7-foot freaking gargoyle
There's a
They're
reason
like,
why they
you-
fought
when
3
you
times
look
in
at
the last
Tyson
6
Fury
months.
in Wilder, and you put the two of them next to each other, you would think, yeah, Wilder kicked that guy's ass. Somehow Tyson Fury won the fight.
Yeah.
I don't know how. I didn't watch
he,
it, but
he knocked him out in like the 11th round. But yeah. Yeah. And then Drew wants to come out at the officiating, so Drew's going to get a fine here. He says, worst officiating I've seen in a long time in college. It seems like that's
Yeah.
a week in and week out thing, to be honest with you.
yeah, it's officiating especially in college has been terrible. I mean, it's been bad for a long time though. Like we're going on probably like 5-6 years now where like I can't remember a time where officiating, and it's in all sports. It's not just relegated to football, baseball. You know, I was watching the Red Sox and Rays, which by the way they're in the 13th inning right now, going at it, tied 4-4. But they had a pitch that was at the guy's neck. It was a curveball that passed at the guy's neck, and it got called for a strike. Like in a playoff game, in a tie playoff game, like that can't happen.
Yeah,
officiating across all sports needs some improvement.
Definitely pretty bad. It might even get bad next year when I become a college referee. So I take I take my exam next Wednesday. So I'm
God,
pretty excited about that.
I can't wait to hear you on Saturdays trying
I
to
won't
tell
be the
everybody what the
referee.
penalty is.
Man, you guys are ridiculous with that. Get out of here.
You'll be
with
like,
that.
you'll be like,
Play
so
that thing.
there's a penalty holding on the offense, and then like 5 minutes later, people are gonna be like, "Can we just play? We know there's a penalty." I'm just playing, Buck. I love you.
Yeah. I mean, honestly though, when I get like in the moment, man, holding, get the fuck off. No, I'm kidding. But anyways, guys, we are going to take our next break here. On the other side of the break, we're going to jump into more sports headlines. We're going to dive into some more NFL games. We got the Lions and Vikings, Patriots and Texans, and we're going to sprinkle in some Browns, Chargers in there as well. But
You know the type of official I could see you being?
what's that?
I could see you being like the one in that Snickers commercial, or I think it was Snickers, maybe it was a Doritos commercial, where they're getting
the
together and
fantasy
they're like,
points thing?
well, oh wait, you can't call it a number 67. I've got 67 on my fantasy team.
Yeah.
You'd be like, well, if we throw one flag here, one flag there, we can offset and we can restart.
Well, money talks. So Louisville Cardinals fans, if you guys want to win some games, go ahead and slide that 1,000 in, like in my pocket, and like it won't be good. So guys, we do got some more NFL talk coming, but right after the break, guys, we're going to talk some Major League Baseball playoffs. So stay tuned right here on the Man Hour. We'll be right back.
make sure it sound right, boys.
And welcome back to the Man Hour, guys. Michael Buckhouse and Brandon BC Combs tonight. BC merch is dropping over there at manhourradio.com. Be sure to pick it up. Use promo code BEARSSUCK and save some dollar bills, y'all. So that promo code is still live for a couple more days because I basically just forgot to cancel it. But that promo code is still live. Bears suck. 2 S's because Bears so sucky. With that being said, guys, we have covered some
They're
NFL
better
talks.
than the Lions.
That is very, very true. Lions are 0-5 right now. We'll get deeper into that. But Combs, it is time to talk some Major League Baseball pluck because we have 2 games happening right now as we're live here on the Man Hour Sunday night. YouTube.com/Man Hour, and that's the Tampa Bay Rays taking on the Boston Red Sox and the Houston Astros taking on the Chicago White Sox. With all that being said, Combs, we have a Tampa Bay score here. What is it? 4-4 going to the third.
Yeah, they're in the top of the
13th
13th right now. The Rays have a runner on first. There's a full count to Kiermaier. This game has been crazy. The Red Sox had a 4-1 lead. Actually, Kiermaier just hit a 2-run. Oh no, was it a 2-run home run or was it a double? Ground rule double. If it's a ground rule double, it saves a run.
Yeah. So with that being said, Combs, flipping back to the series here, the Rays versus the Sox, you had the Rays winning this series. So we are in Game 3 right now. The series is tied 1-1. Are you sticking with that prediction that the Tampa Bay Rays is still going to win this series after watching the first 3 games almost?
Yeah, I still think the Rays are going to win it. I still think they're the better team. I think they're the better pitching staff. I think that they are just a better overall team. So, yeah, I think that the Red Sox still end up losing this series. I think they lose it in 5. But, yeah, I'm still going with Tampa Bay.
So clearly, we don't know the outcome to Game 3 right now, but looking forward to Game 4. Let's say the Tampa Bay Rays win this game. Obviously, it will be a must-win for the Red Sox moving forward, but do the Rays have to close it out in 4 games to still advance?
No. I think they go back home for Game 5. I think if they go back home for Game 5, I still think I'd put my money on Tampa Bay to be okay in that situation. They would have their ace going. They would be able to go back and forth and I like Tampa Bay's pitching staff. I like their bullpen, and I like their scrappiness. The Red Sox won't go away though. I mean, it's not going to be an easy fight. This is probably the toughest series out of all of them to figure out who is going to be the winner of this series without knowing. As I'm watching, I'm sorry, I'm distracted. I'm watching it in the background. They're trying to replay it. So the ball went off the wall, hit the Red Sox player, and then bounced over the wall. So now they have to determine where the runners were at when the ball went over the wall and determine whether or not the run counts or not. So it's going to be a double, and the runner is going to be on third. Rays are mad. Rays are not happy. So it's going to be second and third with 2 outs in the top of the 13th.
Nice.
The Red Sox get out of this. The Red Sox are going to win this in the bottom of the 13th.
Okay. So on the flip side of that, let's say the Red Sox do win this game here. I mean, because clearly we don't know the outcome yet. Do the Red Sox have to close it out in 4 games to advance in this series?
Yes. They have to win tonight and they have to win tomorrow night. And as I'm watching the replay again, that was a bad call. It hits the guy and goes over the wall. The guy's already rounding third when that happens. He should have gotten home plate. It's not a ground rule double at that point. But anyway, the Red Sox do absolutely have to close this out in 4. If it goes back to Tampa Bay, I think Tampa Bay is just too good in Tampa in the Dome, and they'll find a way to pull it out at home. They're a really good baseball team.
Yeah, so I agree with you on that 100%. So on the AL side of things here, we have another game happening right now. We have Houston take on the Chicago White Sox. Houston does win this, lead the series 2-0.
Yeah.
We said it earlier, but just to reiterate, do the White Sox win tonight, Combs?
Yeah, I think the White Sox will find a way to win tonight. I think they'll find a way to win tomorrow night, and then I think they'll end up losing in 5 back in Houston. It's for me the swing game was game 2. For game 1, I was yelling they had Lance Lynn start the game. Lance Lynn gives up a walk, gives up a bloop single, and they're already down by 2 at that point, and you just feel like, you know what, you need to go get Lynn. He doesn't have his best stuff, and Tony La Russa left him out there, and the very next pitch gets hit for a home run, and the White Sox end up losing that game big, 6-1. And then in game 2, I feel like he stuck with his starter a little too long again, and they end up losing that game too. I think for the White Sox, it's ultimately going to be the end of their story. Is going to be management mistakes by Tony La Russa is going to cost this team this series, and I think it happens in Game 5. I think they find a way to win both games at home, though.
So you do have the Astros in 5 games in this series, right? Still,
I do, yeah.
All right,
Yep.
so we do have 4 games happening tomorrow, if necessary. So I just want to quickly go through the four series here, and I want you to pick the winners of these games. So the Brewers are at Atlanta. This is a 1:00 game. I absolutely love 1:00 games during the playoffs because I get to watch the full game. But the series is tied 1-1. Who do you got winning Game 3?
Atlanta. I think Atlanta wins this one in 4, maybe 5. I picked at the beginning. I picked a sweep. Most of that was just me hating the Brewers, like I do. The Brewers are a good team. They're not going to go away easy. It's going to be a really good series. I think that what'll happen is they'll find Atlanta's going to find a way to win Game 3 in Atlanta. And then with their backs against the wall, I feel like that lineup is just starting to disappear for Milwaukee. So I think Atlanta wins this one in 4.
All right, and then obviously if Game 4 is necessary, Houston versus Chicago. You've already said, you had the Chicago
Sox, yep.
winning that one, and then Game 4, Tampa Bay taking on Boston. That series right now is tied 1-1 as well. So we don't know who is going to win yet, but it is Game 4 at Boston. Who you got winning that one?
Who are the pitchers in that one?
They are undecided as of right now.
On both teams, huh?
Both teams, yep.
I'm gonna go with whoever wins tonight wins tomorrow.
Okay.
That's what I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna go with the momentum of tonight carries into tomorrow, and the series is over tomorrow for these two teams.
Okay, and then the final NLDS game is you have the top-seeded San Francisco Giants traveling to L.A. to take on the Dodgers. First things first, people were ridiculing you about, the Cardinals beating the Dodgers, but we'll move past that. This is a 1-1 series tie. Who do you got winning Game 3?
Yeah, I mean, look, the Cardinals were playing good baseball. They snuck into the playoffs, so I thought that they would win. They almost did. It was a 1-1 game. The Dodgers won a tie game in the bottom of the 9th, 1-1 game. It was everything I said it would be. I actually, on my predictions on ESPN, they have their little playoff things. And in that game, I was right about 5 out of the 6 things. The only thing I was not right about was the Cardinals winning the game. I was right about everything else that would happen in that game except for the winner because it came down to the Dodgers in the bottom of the 9th. The Dodgers and the Giants, man, they played some good baseball the other day. That series is tied 1-1, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And this one's in L.A. I'm going to go with, what's the pitching matchup tomorrow?
It is Alex Wood versus Max Scherzer.
God, Max Scherzer's so good. Alex Wood's been good all year too, though. I'm going to go with the Dodgers and Max Scherzer. I believe in this team now. I just do. I think, God, this team is so deep and so good, and Max Scherzer is just a stud. So I'm going to go with the Dodgers and Scherzer.
So who do you got winning the series then? Because you had St. Louis winning this series, but
yeah,
who you
I got the Dodgers in 5. I think this one's destined to go 5. It's just two really good. The two best teams in baseball
right
are going at it right now.
and
It's a shame it has to happen in the DS and not the CS.
Right. Yeah. Very, very, very true. So, guys, let's go ahead and shift gears a little bit here back to Week 4 NFL, Week 5 NFL conversation, I should say. And a game that I kind of had a close eye on today was the Minnesota Vikings take on the Detroit Lions. Minnesota Vikings pulled out the win 19-17, but Combs, I'm going to ask you this question, Big, because we've seen the Vikings team be really, really good, just haven't got over that hump and found the win column until tonight. But I think they played bad, to be honest. But what did this game show you about both of these teams moving forward?
The Detroit Lions are bad, and the Minnesota Vikings are a little less bad. This was not a. It just, I don't know. It just wasn't a fun game to watch. 19-17. I know a last second. The Lions, man, if they get beat by one more last second field goal, I think you got to put all Lions fans on suicide watch.
Yeah.
Because they keep getting beat by last second field goals. And they're long ones, too. It's not even, I think it was a 57-yarder today. Last week or 2 weeks ago was a 67-yarder.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. I thought this was going to be a close one. I actually took the Lions and the points in this one because the Lions were a 3.5 point underdog. So I actually won that bet on that one. Yeah. So I thought this would be a close game. The Lions and Vikings tend to just play the same type of football, and the Vikings ultimately came out. I don't think that this really tells you anything about either one of these teams other than the fact that they're going to be fighting for third and fourth place in the division.
Yeah, Combs, what this game tells me about here is that maybe it is time to buy more stock in the Detroit Lions. I'm absolutely kidding. Guys,
thank God.
I am jumping off the Detroit Lions bandwagons. For the last 2 seasons, they have punched me in the gut over and over and over. I thought, hey, they bring a line to the sidelines during practice. They're going to be a good team, right? 10-6, 10-7, whatever. Combs, what are they now? 0-5? Guys, for Mr. Buck right here, _Buck at the Twitter machine, at me if you want. I am forever putting a curse on the Detroit Lions. They will never get 5 wins over the next 15 years. Guys, this team is fucking horrible. This is the worst NFL team I have seen in my whole entire life. Every time I get excited, like, hey, they're going to pull it out, they shit the bed, Combs. They're like, I don't know what it is. They cannot find the end zone. They cannot keep teams out of the end zone. They are the worst fourth quarter team. They're worse than the Atlanta Falcons in the fourth quarter, Combs. Like, yeah. I don't know what it is about this Detroit Lions franchise. Are they destined to just suck? Yes. Yeah. They are destined to suck. That's sorry, Pops. Like, I was a Detroit Lions fan. I was jumping on that bandwagon because my dad's a Detroit fan. Pops, they suck.
Yeah.
Find a new team.
Christian Vasquez just hit a 2-run bomb for the Red Sox to walk it off for the Red Sox, and they win that game, by the way. But I'm with you. I don't know what you saw in this team. I don't know why you are.
I saw Jared Goff.
We're even on this bandwagon.
DeAndre Swift. I saw a new head coach. I saw a line on the sideline, Combs. I was buying the line.
Yeah.
Have you seen the Tiger King? Those guys are freaking gods. I mean, I was thinking, man, they have a line. They got to be above a god. They got to be a Greek god, like on that sideline, right? Hell, yeah. Oh my God, Combs, they are terrible. They suck.
I don't disagree. I told you this a while ago. I don't know what it is, but I do know that next season, when we do our predictions, you're going to have the Lions again at 11-6.
Nope.
And you're going to pick them to win the division.
I don't even know what their schedule is, who they draft. If they get 2 freaking wins, I might have a heart attack, Combs. I might have a heart attack if they get 2 wins. Because, Combs, they are bad. Jared Goff is bad. DeAndre Swift is bad. Their defense, they cut their best player because he was a, quote, cancer on the team. The defense is bad.
Yeah,
Jesus.
I don't disagree. They're horrible, and I knew they were going to be horrible. I had them at 2-15 this year.
You did.
Told you they were going to be terrible.
They won't even get one freaking win this year. 0-17 again.
I know. I picked the Falcons to be 0-17. I might have just picked the wrong team to be 0-17.
Yeah. Jesus. Speaking of 0-17 teams, the Texans are not at 0. Man, I got a cough. Give me a second.
So the Texans are an 0-17 team.
They're not.
They're going to be an 0-17 team
They already beat the Jags.
next year. No, so they've won 2 games. They're a 1-16 team is what they'll be.
Yeah.
They lost that game today. They should have beaten the New England Patriots. They allowed the New England Patriots to come back and win that game. It was atrocious. It was typical Houston Texans football. You're watching a team that is just awful, and an organization that is just awful. And the New England Patriots should count their stars that they were playing the Houston Texans today. Otherwise, they would have had another loss under their belts.
So the one thing that I wanted to ask about this game, Combs, was the quarterback play of Davis Mills. So we saw the Houston Texans draft Davis Mills. Well, it was a 3rd round, wasn't it? It was fairly later in the draft. I mean, like he wasn't a 1st or a 2nd round pick, obviously, but he is not horrible by any means. But do you think Davis Mills is the future quarterback of the Houston Texans moving forward?
Probably. The Houston Texans are just kind of that team. And so I don't see that they are getting anybody coming there anytime soon. No free agents, none of that. It's going to be, who do they draft? There's not really very many quarterbacks in this draft. They'll probably be in position to draft whoever they want over the next 5 or 6 years. And, will Davis Mills still be their quarterback? I don't know. This organization is just trash. It's in such disarray. It's horrible. It's hard to watch.
Yeah, sorry. After that first week when they got the win over the Jacksonville Jaguars and Tyrod Taylor kind of led them. First of all, shout out to Javier for giving us that $4.99 super chat. Thank you for that, man. Definitely appreciate all your support. But I thought the Houston Texans might surprise some people, but then guess what? Tyrod Taylor got hurt. Davis Mills comes in. So we spoke with Soup Boss, 2 weeks ago, Combs, about quarterbacks that should sit a year. Davis Mills is a quarterback that needed to sit probably 3 years before he was ready to jump into the NFL. I mean, he shows spurts of being good, much like Zach Trash Wilson, him like himself.
No help though, Buck. He's got no help.
Exactly. So what I'm trying to say here is, like, in a roundabout way, is Davis Mills will not be the quarterback of the Houston Texans just because he is going to get battered and bruised, and he is going to have that Sam Darnold kind of syndrome on him. Like, hey, he just can't win. Get him out of town, right? You gotta, right? So if the Houston Texans get their 15 first-round picks that they want for Deshaun Watson, right? They're going to draft a quarterback next year. Let's just be honest about it. They are going to draft a receiver and a lineman, and Davis Mills is going to be Josh Rosen. He is going to jump from team to team to team and end up on a practice squad and be a backup to Tom Brady when he's 52 years old. That's what it comes down to.
I feel like he's. Could he start on any other franchise right now?
The only other franchise that would possibly come to mind right now would be the Jaguars.
You would start him over Trevor Lawrence?
Trevor Lawrence is making a lot of dumb mistakes. Like, he is forcing the ball, he's overthrowing it, and I think he has more interceptions than completions. It seems like Davis Mills, for having no help around him, looks better than Trevor Lawrence right now. Yes.
Okay. I don't feel like there's another organization where Davis Mills would be the starter. I just don't. Maybe Miami, just because Tua's hurt.
Yeah.
is the only other place where I could see him being the starter. I think they need him to be there. I mean, he wasn't horrible today.
No,
He was 21 of 29 for 312 yards and 3 touchdowns.
with 0 interceptions, right? That's the
Zero
that's the key
interceptions.
stat right there.
Yeah,
So
and
he is doing that
the
with no
defense
help
just
around
couldn't
him.
hold the Patriots back when they had the lead. That was the big problem.
Yeah.
Now you talk about him possibly playing in Jacksonville. You know, Trevor Lawrence wasn't terrible today. I mean, Trevor Lawrence was 23 of 33, 273 yards, touchdown, no interceptions.
No, he threw
So-
a interception like the very first play of the game. They took it like a pick six.
Did he?
Yeah.
Because okay. There was an interception. Sorry, I was looking at didn't have it on the original box score until I clicked
Oh.
into it and looked. I mean, his QBR was a 31.8 today.
Trevor Lawrence or Davis Mills?
Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah. How do they figure QBR? Because like
I don't know.
'cause-
It's an ESPN stat because
well,
Ryan Tannehill was 14 of 22 for 197 yards with 1 touchdown and no interceptions. He's a 74.1. So he threw for 100 less yards.
Yeah.
He had 10 less completions. And his quarterback rating is 40 points higher.
Well, I mean
I don't understand that.
the interception probably.
Yeah.
I
So
I'll
their
have to look that
passer
up.
rating, which is
Stupid.
an NFL stat, is the passer rating. Ryan Tannehill was a 107.6, and Trevor Lawrence was a 92.1.
And 124.9 is the max on that, right? Is that what it is, or is it 149.9?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's something up there. It's something. It's a weird number.
Right. But like either way, I mean, if you look at Davis Mills, I mean, look at teams that need a quarterback right now. Seattle Seahawks. I mean, Wilson's out for 8 weeks, right, with a broken finger. Who's their backup? Geno Smith. So I mean, he could definitely be a serviceable backup. Like I feel to
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'd rather have him than Geno Smith right now. I'd rather have anybody than Geno Smith. I mean, he's Geno frickin'. I didn't even know. Look, until Thursday night, I didn't know Geno Smith was still in the league.
Yeah, he's been backup for Seattle for 3 years now, maybe.
I thought he was out of the league. I didn't even know 3 years ago he was their backup. I thought that
Right,
I really legitimately thought this guy was out of the league. I would have never. You could have asked me the same question. I thought it was name me the Seattle Seahawks backup. I probably would have named you 500 names before I got to Geno Smith.
Well, maybe we could do that on Guess Who when Tori comes
Oh my God! It was
comes back in a few weeks.
it was insane. I would have never thought.
All right, guys. So first things first. Good night, Drew. Have a great night, man. Thank you for tuning in tonight. We definitely appreciate it. But the next game that we're going to talk about, Combs, is a game that was going back and forth, wire to wire, and it came down to the wire. And that's the Cleveland Browns traveling to LA to take on the Chargers. The Chargers outlasted them 47-42. However, the story of the game is Justin freaking Herbert. 400 yards passing. He had like almost 50 fantasy points. And this is the first time Chargers have been in sole place of the AFC West since 2012. Wrap that around your head, 2012. So it's almost been almost 10 years since they've had sole possession in first place in their division. How good are the Chargers, Combs?
The Chargers are good. They're God, Justin Herbert. And it's another, you're clamoring for rookies need to sit a year. If Tyrod Taylor doesn't get hurt last year with a punctured lung, we don't know that Justin Herbert is as good as he is.
Facts.
And that is a rookie that, I mean, he's good, man. He's really, really good. He's almost Patrick Mahomes type good. He's just not as flashy. He's not as he might even be marketable, but we wouldn't know because he plays for the Chargers. But that's the only difference between him and Patrick Mahomes. He's a good quarterback. He's very, very good. And this Chargers team is in really good hands. And they've got a talented team. They've got a good defense. They've got good wide receivers. They got good running backs. They got a good offensive line. He's in prime position to be a great quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, like, guys, we spoke on it last year. Like, the Chargers kind of came out of nowhere per per se, and they missed the playoffs by one game last year. But guys, right now they are they're 4-1 in the NFL season this year. 4-1 in the LA Chargers, and this just isn't a team that's beating a bunch of crap teams like Liz's Denver Broncos. There, beating the Giants and Jets.
Leave
right?
Liz alone.
But guys, they beaten the Browns. They beaten the Raiders. Like at the time, they were both undefeated teams, right? They beaten the Kansas City Chiefs at Arrowhead, and that game was a 30-24 game. But if you watch that game, the Chargers controlled from kickoff to the final whistle that whole game. Me as a Kansas City Chiefs fan, I never felt good about that game at all. Then they lost to the Cowboys with if you remember that game, that week 2 game, Combs, they had like 97 flags like in the second quarter alone, and they could never get a drive started because it was flag. It was absolutely ridiculous. And then they traveled to Washington and beat a Washington football team that at the time we thought was going to be really good. So at hindsight right now, the Washington is their worst team that they played, and many people had them going 13-4 this season, Torrey Anderson. But 4-1 versus wins over the Chiefs, Raiders, and Browns. I mean, that alone is better than most teams in the NFL. I mean, they are a damn good team, Combs. Damn good team.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I think that they could possibly win the West this year.
Yeah, me as a Chiefs fan, that hurts a lot. But you know what? That is very, very true, Combs, because if you guys flash back to last year, the Chargers and the Chiefs were tied going into Week 17 for the division. The loser of that game was going to be the 7th seed in the NFL, in the playoffs.
Yep.
Wrap that around your head.
Yeah. I think that the Chargers right now, I think they've put themselves in position to be the team to beat in that division.
Hands down. You are absolutely right. But next week, they do travel to Baltimore. I mean, we'll get deeper into these games moving forward, but they played the Baltimore Ravens next week. Like, I think that is a proven ground game for the Chargers. Are they here, or are they a flash in the pan? Because, the Ravens, whether you guys want to, it's hard for me to admit this, but they're a damn good team too. They are 3-1. They obviously had a bye, or no, they play tomorrow night, right? I mean, this might be the battle for AFC first place, Combs.
Yeah, and I mean, look, the Chargers schedule after the Ravens too. I mean, they get the Patriots, the Eagles, the Vikings, the Steelers, the Broncos, the Bengals, the Giants before they have to play Kansas City. They're better than all of those teams.
Yeah.
So if you beat the Ravens, you could possibly go into Kansas City at, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 more games. So you're looking at a 12-1 team.
Yep.
Heading into that game against Kansas City.
And then then they win one game that final 5 weeks of the season. They're a 13-4 team.
Yeah. If you figure, even if they do drop this game to Baltimore, I mean, they could still be an 11-2 team going in that game against Kansas City. And right now, I mean, do you look at Kansas City as being one of those teams
Absolutely not.
that is only going to lose 2 or 3 games heading into then?
No. I mean, I don't think the Kansas City Chiefs win tonight, to be honest with you. I mean, and that's coming from a Kansas City Chiefs fan. They do not look like a juggernaut football team right now. I think the success the last 3 seasons has gotten to their head, and they are not going to, NFL sports is just not a light. It is not a switch. You can just not turn it on and turn it off like the NBA.
Do you think that the Chiefs and the Packers are one in the same right now? And when you look at those 2 teams, do you believe in them about the same right now?
I feel
like they're the same team.
I believe in the Kansas City Chiefs a little bit more just because their defense hasn't performed the first half of the season, the last 3 seasons, and for some way they find it together week 10. But on the flip side of that coin, the Kansas City Chiefs offense was clicking on all cylinders, and like right now they're getting like 10, 17 points. Right, their offense isn't as flashy as it once was, and their schedule is a lot harder. So I actually have more faith in the Green Bay Packers than I do in the Kansas City Chiefs because of their schedules moving forward. I feel like the Packers have an easier schedule, and Aaron Rodgers has kind of been there, done that, and the Packers have added depth to their defensive linebacker core. They picked up Jalen Smith from the Dallas Cowboys, which he should be active next week. So that will even help them even even more. I have more faith of the Packers getting on track before the Kansas City Chiefs do. That's just me.
Yeah, man, it's hard for me to not trust that Patty Mahomes is going to figure this out, and that they're not going to be able to figure out getting the defense to play a little bit better.
Is it him, or is it the rest of the league catching up, just like what they did to Sean McVay? Sean McVay came into the Rams, boom, best offensive genius ever, right? And then last couple years they kind of tailed off.
I think that was a lot of having Jared Goff as their quarterback.
But like, are people starting to figure out how to beat the Kansas City Chiefs?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot more film out there, but I don't think they've just figured out the Kansas City Chiefs. I think the Chiefs just aren't playing good baseball right now.
Football.
Yeah, or football. Sorry, I'm watching the game. Sorry.
Me too.
But I just they're just not playing good right now, and I think that they'll figure it out. I think they're good enough to figure it out, and I think that's what they'll do.
So Javier says KC will win again because they felt pain and the coach.
What? I've never seen this before in a playoff game. They're pulling a guy with a lead, 5-3 lead for the Houston Astros, 2 outs in the inning, and he's got a 2-0 count. He's in the middle of an at bat, no injury, and they're pulling the pitcher.
That's weird. So
Dusty
Javier
Baker
says that that Kansas City will figure it out before the Packers do, just because of the head coaching, just because Andy Reid has had more life struggles than Matt LaFleur. So therefore, the players kind of have more respect for Andy Reid and want to win for him more than Matt LaFleur. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't disagree with that. I look, Andy Reid has a ton of respect. Matt LaFleur just hasn't gained it. I mean, his play calling has been suspect at best since he's been a head coach. I mean, the playoffs alone last year, kicking that field goal still, to me, boggles my damn mind.
Yeah.
I still can't for the life of me understand what the hell he was thinking. And there's play calling. There was play calling today that I just didn't understand. So, yeah, I can see that. I can absolutely see that. I mean, Andy Reid's won a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Matt LaFleur has not.
True. And then, I mean, like, I played for a college coach, whether you loved him or you hated him. There was no, I can tolerate him, right? No, it's either you loved him or you hate him. And I feel like that's what Andy Reid is. Either you love Andy Reid or you hate Andy Reid. Look at it was LaShawn McCoy, right? No. It was Le'Veon Bell. He won a Super Bowl with the Kansas City Chiefs, has a ring on his finger because of Andy Reid, but yet he dogged him because it's either you love him, you will run through this brick wall for him, or you're going to try to dance around him and find an easy way in life. And I think with Matt LaFleur, people tolerate him. They don't love him, they don't hate him, but they tolerate him.
Yeah, I think they have no choice, right? Because he's the head coach. They're not, it's kind of like the Bears with Matt Nagy, right? Like everybody, I mean, nobody, there's no way he is respected by his players in the locker room. There's no way. You don't respect a guy who can't adjust his game plan. You don't respect a guy who clearly did not want Justin Fields to be his starting quarterback. You can't. I mean, it was never more obvious than on Monday. No, if Andy's healthy, he's our starting quarterback. On Wednesday, hey, it's Justin Fields time. Justin Fields our starter going forward. Like nothing happened in between those 2 days. The only thing that happened was that, you got told you had a come to Jesus moment with your boss, and he said, "Hey, guess what's happening here?"
Right.
And so I don't know. I just feel like that's where the Packers are at right now with Matt LaFleur. And I don't necessarily know how long they're stuck with Matt LaFleur, because the Packers, they don't go through coaches.
Right. Just like
And Matt
Steelers.
LaFleur's winning.
Yeah.
He's 29-7 now as a head coach in the regular season.
True. Very, very true. All right, man. So, guys, that is going to be it for the Man Hour tonight. We do have Wyatt Wines coming up if you're listening to us on the radio here. So, Wyatt Wines is coming up here on the Man Hour. But, guys, as always, thank you for tuning in. Combs, send us out.
Man Hour Nation, rise up as the White Sox just hit a 3-run homer to take the lead 6-5, baby.